Hi everyone, it's Gina from SistersTalk Radio.
And Andrea from SistersTalk Radio.
Happy 4th of July, everyone.
Yay!
Yay! So if we really mess up, please forgive us because we've been drinking all day. So that... all day. So, yeah.
Just laughing about it.
So we're just laughing about it. So this video is a review of The Real L Word, episode 3, season 1.
Yep.
Okay, so we're just going to run through the characters and what's going on. I was kind of bored with this episode. What about you?
It was kind of boring. I think maybe it's because it's the holiday.
And we've been drinking. Maybe that's why we were bored.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I don't know. It kind of, there wasn't anything spicy going on in it, you know?
No.
It was all lovey-dovey and, you know, Valentine's Day and all that, which I like that stuff, but I wanted something like hardcore and...
Yeah. It was a Valentine's Day episode. They're all celebrating Valentine's Day, and so some of you, we actually did a question on our Facebook fan page about how many of you absolutely love Valentine's Day and how many of you, you know, just hate Valentine's Day. So, you know, these guys on The Real L Word were kind of talking a little bit about Valentine's Day and how they felt about it. So we're going to talk a little bit about each character and what's going on with each character. Rose is kind of redeeming herself.
Yeah, she is. She treated Natalie with a very nice Valentine's Day. Like, she really pampered her, got her a back massage, took her to a nice restaurant. Kind of, they had like their own little table.
Yeah.
And like she was, I think, trying to show Natalie, you know what, I could be an ass, but I really do care about you, and you know, I really do want something with you, and I might not show it all the time, but I do care about you.
Jill and Nikki, still bored. I'm still bored with Jill and Nikki. And I don't know why we are, because, you know, they're engaged and they're planning their wedding. Andrea and I, we're engaged and we're planning our wedding, but we find ourselves just really bored with Jill and Nikki. We're still bored with them.
I just feel like they're doing everything because they feel like they're supposed to, and it needs to be this way or that, and we're not like that. We're just like, oh, we don't want to do it that way? Okay, we're not going to. You know? So,
I don't know.
They're just, yeah, they are kind of boring.
They're still boring. So, I don't know. I thought we might see a little twist in their story when they brought Derek along, and Jill was talking about how she had feelings for Derek, but they dropped that storyline, so they're boring again. So, Mikey, wow. We saw a side of Mikey that's, we saw another side of Mikey that's a little bit different from last week's side that we saw. It's Valentine's Day, and Mikey is spending it alone because her girlfriend Raquel is busy. So Mikey gets a little drunk. Okay, a lot of drunk.
Yeah, a lot
more drunk than we are right now. And totally flirts with Whitney, and Romy gets really pissed because Romy introduced Whitney and Mikey. Stupid. That was
you can't
stupid.
do that. If you're a lesbian, you don't do that.
You can't be introducing the girl you're interested in to some other lesbian. You should know better than that.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. Mikey was a little upset about the fact that she was alone for Valentine's Day because her girlfriend's very busy. So we're still seeing the tension with Mikey and her partner being really busy. Mikey said something about, you know, I work a lot too, but I make time for Raquel, and I don't know if Raquel feels that same type of commitment to Mikey. So, girl, if Raquel breaks up with you, you just let us sister know. So anyway, Tracy and Stamie. Oh my Lord, I think Tracy really wants to make it work with Stamie. Now, if you guys remember, Stamie is Tracy's girlfriend, and Stamie has 3 children, all under the age of 5. And I think Tracy wants to make it work because she cares a lot about Stamie, but I don't see her really wanting to be a baby mama at all.
No, and she's really trying. Like, you can tell, like, she's almost trying to convince herself, like, I really like this. Like, just the statement she makes, it just sounds like, oh, yeah, I like this a lot, but the way she says it's almost like you can tell she's just trying to convince herself. You know, like, I think she really likes Stamie, and I think she likes the children, but the whole reality of the big picture of it is too much for her. Like, she kind of alluded that, like, at some point in a conversation, that it was just a little bit more than she thought she was going to be getting into.
Listen, Tracy, honey, it takes a certain type of person to be okay with being in a relationship with a woman who has 3 children under the age of 5. And if you're not that kind of a person, don't feel bad about that. You're not that person. You don't want to be in a relationship with a woman who has 3 children under the age of 5, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's better to admit that now and get out early before those kids fall in love with you. That's just my opinion.
Oh man, that's gotta be rough too. I mean, you start making that connection. It's not just with that adult. It's with those children now too.
Yeah. So if you really don't want it, Tracy, get out. Really, get out. All right. So Whitney, we still don't like her. Next.
I love that they posed the question at the bottom, like, who will Whitney be with? And they
said, who should Whitney be with?
Who should they? Yeah.
Nobody. They didn't give us the nobody option. They gave us the Romy, Tor, and Sada option. And I said, where's the nobody option? So, yeah, and so Whitney's got a thing for her new trainer. Her name is Miranda. And she's talking about having the hots for Miranda right there in front of Tor. What a fucking bitch.
Yeah.
Really? What a fucking inconsiderate, rude, selfish, self-absorbed bitch. I don't like Whitney. So next.
Yeah, why even bother talking about Whitney?
Yeah, we're not even talking about Whitney. Okay, so we want to talk about a larger subject that's happening in the real L Word. Tracy and Stamie. The fact that Tracy is in a relationship with a woman who has 3 children, and what we're picking up on, body language, not necessarily everything she says, but it's how she says it and it's the look on her face when she says it. We're getting the feeling that Tracy's really not all this keen on being in a relationship with a woman who has 3 children under the age of 5. It's a lot of work, and I think they were trying to get the kids settled down so they can have their Valentine's Day together. And it's one thing when those are your kids. It's one thing when you are baby daddy or baby mama. You know, you've been there since the day they were born, and you kind of. You know, you've been there through 5 Valentine's Days already, and you know that it takes a lot of work to get kids down so you can have a nice romantic grown-up time, to yourself. But when you're just coming into it, it's a lot to ask someone to get used to.
Oh, yeah. I mean, there's so many more responsibilities, and your adult relationship is, way in the back burner. I think they had plans to do something, and it kind of showed the timeline of this is not going to happen because these kids won't get in bed. They're priority first, and we're going to have to put what we wanted to do way on the back, and that takes the right woman or, other relationships man to make that work, it's hard, I would think, to come into that with especially young children. We've talked about this before a little bit, that especially when they're really young.
I think it's unfair for Stamie to expect Tracy. First of all, when does Tracy really get a chance to know Stamie? Because every time they're together, it seems as if it's Tracy, Stamie, and the 3 kids. So when does Tracy really get an opportunity to get to know Stamie? I have 2 children. They're both teenagers, 17 and 15. But when I was just dating, one of the things I did was I didn't bring my kids into that relationship right away.
Right.
I allowed the person I was dating to get to know me first. And she had time to get to know me at least a little bit before I brought in the kids. Mm-hmm. So I'm wondering, when is Tracy going to get an opportunity to really get to know Stamie? So.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's important too. You need to get that connection plus get to know who that person is with their children, because that's not going to change.
All right, so do we think it's going to work with Tracy and Stamie? No. What do I think is going to happen with Mikey and her girlfriend? Nothing. I mean, they're too busy for anything to happen.
It's really showing that, they might want it, but it's just, how long can you do that?
Jill and Nikki, so boring. I'm not even going to talk about Jill and Nikki. Rose and Natalie, they're going to have one of those very tumultuous relationships where when it's really good, it's really good. When it's really bad, it's really bad. And they're going to go through that for quite a while before one of them decides to not do it anymore. Whitney? Anyway, we're available on iTunes. All you have to do is go to iTunes and search for Sisters Talk Radio. We're also available on Stitcher. Stitcher is a podcast application for your BlackBerry or iPhone. And if you're not watching this video on YouTube, our YouTube channel is youtube.com/Sisters Talk Radio. We'll see you guys again soon. Bye.
Bye.